Hello and welcome back to Comic Literate, the podcast where we comically
and literally
review comics. That was my co-host Jamie, I'm Ryan, and I said we review comics, and we're kind of doing that, we're kind of not this week, because this week we're looking at the Eisner Award nominations 2026.
You know, I actually told my partner about this today.
She was like, oh my god, it's the Eisners.
Yeah, well, because she was like, haven't you got like a bunch of comics to read? And I was like, no, I only need to read like a couple. Because it's Eisner week. And she was like, oh, is that like that thing? And I was like, yeah, it's the thing. Because it's my favorite episode to record every year, where we just get to like gab about
the industry talk, as we're famous for.
I also find it really gratifying that every year we've covered most of what's being nominated.
Yeah, I think we're kind of about a halfway mark. We forgot to cue the music. Should we cue the music before we keep talking?
Yeah, cue the music. So should we do general thoughts first? And we'll give our general thoughts about what's been nominated this year, kind of what the vibe is.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same to you. I was gonna say, should we look at just the whole nominations and awards and then look at our specialized category?
Yeah, so let's go general thoughts. We'll play the general thoughts music and we'll give you our general thoughts on the Eisner nominations.
General thoughts on the Eisners. We salute you, Mr. Eisner.
We salute you, Mr. Eisner.
So, I forget, did I send you the list of nominations?
I know, no, but I do have access to the internet.
So this is going to be a live reaction. Oh, you've seen them already.
I am capable of Googling things. I did have a look.
Who taught you how to do that? Anyway, so with the Eisner Awards, much like the Oscars and many other entertainment-based awards, most of the rounds, what do you call them? Categories are filled with nominations that we don't know anything about. The more obscure ones.
So I didn't, because there was some categories, like Best Short Story is a category I just didn't look at because not relevant to the podcast.
And it's not to diminish the work of the people who have nominated for those. They are fantastic. I just don't think we're going to have enough to say about it because of our own ignorance, is what I'm trying to get across.
Are you including me in that?
I said R, the royal R.
Well, I read books.
Yeah, but these are comic short stories.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, it's all comics.
Oh, I assumed the short stories, there was just a random short story category.
Well, I'm assuming that they're comics. So.
Right, okay.
But also, we've not heard about any of them anyway. So we will put a link to the full list of nominations in the show notes. So if you want to have a look at them.
Do we have show notes now?
Yeah, we've always had show notes.
Have we?
Yeah, of course. And note to the editor, please put the link to Eisner Awards in the show notes for us, please.
Where are
Thank
the show notes?
If you go on a podcast and then you go like a description and it's there.
Oh.
We've had them since we started.
It's in the description.
Yeah.
When I think of show
notes are like a posh way of saying description.
Oh,
basically.
I always assume show notes was like a document the podcasters made to send their...
I mean, some people put information in that, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Call me out, listeners, if show notes means something completely different to you. I think
we should start doing it.
Just call them the show notes.
Yeah, well, we should start... No, that's work that I would have to do. So
you were about to say, we should do this, implying you need to do this.
Yeah, I realised I was about to say something that would more naturally be a Jamie job than a Ryan job, so I'm not going to say it.
Fair enough. Well, so like I was saying, we are not going to cover all of them. We're just going to cover a few of the nominations that we kind of
just
know a
anything
bit
that
about.
Takes our eye when we scroll through.
Exactly. So we will be getting to the best one-shot single issues, our specialist category.
Well, that's the one we always talk about, isn't it?
Because it's the one where we've actually been able to read most of the nominations and compare them.
Absolutely.
So we're going to start with best continuing series.
I love that there's 2 absolute comics in there.
I mean, DC are doing so well this year for obvious reasons.
They're cleaning up, aren't they?
Exactly.
It's nice to see the Power Fantasy getting a nod for continuing series.
Yeah, I think...
You liked it more than me.
I think it would be my pick for this year of the nomination. So we'll read out the entire nomination. So,
oh, God, no, let's not do that.
What, of best continuing series? These 6 entries.
Yeah, okay.
So we've got Absolute Batman, which it would have been crazy if it hadn't been nominated, just because of the overall reception and everything. Absolute Wonder Woman, which personally is my favorite of the 2 of those Absolute titles.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my favorite Absolute title, but it's the one I'd pick out of those 2.
Yeah. The Department of Truth, which is a long ongoing series from old JT4.
Yeah, I was going to say, how have we never talked about this?
I think it started literally before we started the podcast, or if it did start after, it's slowly grown to like reverence that.
Yeah.
You know.
So is this JT's like big ongoing series that he does?
Oh, definitely, yeah. The general gist of the story is apparently it's in a world where what if all conspiracy theories were true? Like, that's the general gist of it. So maybe we'll check out at some point, but if we check out, do we have to do the ones that have released within the last year to assess it? Or do we just start from the beginning and do a bit
do you know what? If it wins an Eisner, we'll have
to cover it.
We'll have to cover it.
One I'd not heard about, but it was...
Fuck My Life.
Well, it's called FML.
Fuck My Life, isn't it?
I mean, I think that's what it stands for. So maybe we'll check that out, because I think it was only like 12 issues or so.
Right.
The Power Fantasy, I think my favourite of all these, to be fair.
Of the ones we've read, it would be my pick, but I don't think it's a particular... do you know what? I think there's better stuff.
Oh, you mean just out there generally?
Yeah, well, I think... So, continuing series that we're reading right now, Where the Fuck is Ice Cream Man?
I mean, that's always like a one that should be nominated. But again, it's a continuing series. I think of that more as like a continuing narrative. I can see why an anthology series wouldn't...
It's still a continuing series, isn't it?
Yeah.
What else is still releasing that we really like? I think... The Ultimates,
definite. Like, I think that's been going really well and is wrapping up currently, like now.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be worth a shout. Captain America, Zdarsky's run on that.
Zdarsky's
currently.
Captain A run is great.
Yeah. It's hard to kind of... What else am I enjoying right now? Apart from the ones, again, like the absolute stuff.
Saga currently still releasing?
Saga stops and starts, and I don't think it's released enough.
Saga's still in hiatus, isn't it, right now?
Which it does constantly.
It came out of hiatus for like a year, didn't it?
I think so, yeah.
And then it went straight back into hiatus.
Then it went away again.
Yeah.
The other one, which is actually interesting, surprisingly, is the title Storm. From Marvel. So
is that an X-Men spin-off?
Yeah. It's X-Men comic, and what's interesting about it is I saw there was a Storm comic, and I was like, I'm not a big enough Storm fan to check it out, but if I hear good things, maybe I will. Like, that was my kind of level. Also, it's the post-Krakoa... Krakoa.
And you loved the Krakoa era stuff, didn't you?
Now it's in the era called Rise from the Ashes or something like that, and it's just literally like, we can be as good as Krakoa, and everyone's like, no, you can't. But the interesting thing about this one is a lot of people who were really big into Storm and checked it out described it as a power scaling fantasy mess. Or what that means is basically
power scaling fantasy mess.
So you know of the concept of power scaling?
I do.
Yeah. So
Brian, I review comic books.
Yeah, but we don't talk about it that much. So
no, we don't, because I suppose it's the kind of thing that is broadly interesting to other comic book fans, but doesn't really factor into the way that we think about and talk about comics, does it?
No. And I think, if anything, from what I've heard, and I should read the Storm series just to see what it's like, but
see what it's all about.
Yeah, because a lot of people are complaining that it is essentially just a big, like, Storm's more powerful than ever. Oh no, there's an even more powerful character. Oh, Storms have to be more powerful to beat this powerful character.
Kind of like Superman in the 60s.
Yeah, but even more like cosmic.
It's like, Storm can create a tiny storm from her finger.
But even with the Superman, it was like new powers. He just kept having new powers. But that's more interesting than character just becomes more powerful.
There's
like, doesn't
only
even do
so
anything different.
much weather that one person can make, isn't there?
They just become more godlike.
It ends up being like Dragon Ball Z, where to show you how much more powerful Goku was getting, they had to have 4 episodes of him standing in front of somebody and grunting and shining before anything actually happened, because if not, it was just the same fight scene they'd given you last season, right?
With some lines of dialogue of like, I'll be the more powerful one, actually, and I won't let you get away with this.
It's over 9,000!
Yeah, exactly.
All that stuff, yeah.
So maybe we should check out at some point just to see if it does commit the sins that everyone says it is.
Yeah, it's interesting that...
Put it this way, I saw a lot of people surprised that it made this nomination. But
they had to... the thing is, I feel like when it comes to the Eisners, Marvel is so powerful. And like, Marvel... Because the Eisners is run in association with Comic-Con, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's hosted in Comic-Con. Beyond that, speculation how close it is. It's probably quite close.
And then Comic-Con is super reliant on the actors from the Marvel Cinematic Universe showing up for panels.
They used to be, and then Disney kind of transferred that to their own, I think it's called D3, I think, or so. I might be getting the name wrong, but basically their own version
So
of
the
Hall
Disney
H.
people are at the Eisners a lot less now.
Well, yes, for a period of time.
And
but,
now Marvel Comics gets way less of a showing.
But I think they have gone back in recent years to, the fabled Hall H, or whatever it is, the one where they reveal all trailers and stuff. So I think they tried to establish their own thing, and then they were like, actually, this is too much work, not enough gain, let's just go back to Comic-Con.
But I'm just curious as to whether Marvel and Disney have enough sway with Comic-Con themselves that it's like, we kind of have to throw a Marvel thing in there. Like, there just has to be some Marvel.
But then of all the titles, like this one seems
Why
to be getting
Storm?
a lot of the criticism. Again, like
But again,
off the top of my head, Captain America, I think
Yeah.
that would have been a better one.
but I know you've told me that the Absolute Batman stuff is quite popular at the moment.
Yeah, like more popular than a comic's been in years,
But
decades
it
maybe.
is hot garbage for the most part.
I don't think it's hot. I have a lot of criticisms about it. I definitely think it's overrated. I made a bloody video about it saying it's overrated.
Did anyone watch it?
Barely at all. But
I'm sorry.
but I still make good points.
I didn't know you'd finished that video and posted it, mate.
But I think it's overrated. Like, I think it does get glazed a bit much. I think Scott Snyder is a bit of a hack when it comes to like
Mate.
junk food, over the top stuff.
Don't
like,
sugarcoat it. Yeah.
But even despite all that, I'm still reading it. And
Are you still reading it?
Yeah, and it is fun and entertaining in a kind of, empty calories kind of way, you know?
I'm glad you've not tried to get me to keep reading it.
I did consider it the other day. I was like, we could actually catch up on that. And those episodes do really well. So.
They do. Well, yeah, because it's enduringly popular. All right, next week we'll do fucking Absolute Batman.
Mate,
again.
well, all right.
But tell you what, if it wins a fucking Eisner, any
we'll
Eisner,
have to catch up on
I'll
it.
have to catch up on it.
All right. So, yeah, the best continuing series, what I want to win, I would say is the Power Fantasy. What I think will win, I think it will be Absolute Batman.
Yeah.
I think, again, it's what you're judging on. Like, if you're judging on quality, that's so subjective. But if they pick Absolute Batman, they can point to say, look how successful it's been in like getting new readers and like helping comic book shops and all that stuff.
I think this is where awards should be separate from sales figures.
Well, they'll always claim to be, but the problem
and then they give the nod to Absolute Batman, which
it's
is
more like
questionable.
It's not sales figures, it's how well received is a comic where it's breaking numbers for not like how much money it's made, but how many people are going out to buy it.
Yeah.
Like if you look at it from that way, it's not like how much money you made. Like like when a kid's film makes a bunch of money, people are like, this has been really successful. It's like, yeah, because parents take their kids to just get a fucking hour and a half of silence and buy tickets to like, and they're still great kids films, but they're disproportionately,
Speaking as a parent, by the way.
Speaking as a parent, the round.
The kid showing of a kid film is delightful chaos.
Just kids crying and shouting at the screen and stuff.
Yeah, and there's fucking popcorn everywhere, and like
there's probably not that much difference between a kid's screening of a film and a screening of the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Have you ever been to a screening?
Or no, I haven't. It does look like fun. Or a screening of The Room where they throw like spoons at the screen and stuff.
So the Rocky Horror Picture Show is. Have you ever seen the film?
Yeah, ages ago.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, it's great.
Incredibly weird.
It's one of those like incredible it was made in the first place.
Yeah, because there's like all the weird fucking sexualized cannibalism in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah,
which is not a sentence said often.
I've done a screening of that. And everyone turns up dressed up. It's just so much fun. It's so cool. Anyway, Eisner's next one.
The next one is Best Limited Series.
So we've got Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Very good.
Really good. Beneath the Trees.
Very
really,
good.
Very
Specifically,
good.
Rite of Spring, the sequel.
Bronze.
Those are the only two we know.
Bronze Faces, which I've never heard of.
I've not.
To Boom Studio. We've never even read a Boom Studios comic.
I think we probably have because Something's Killing the Children was from Boom Studios.
Right,
and we've almost certainly done some others as well.
Okay, cool. So we've got Crownsville by the Oni Press.
Yep. As well as Out of Alcatraz by Oni Press.
Yeah. Everything Dead and Dying.
From Image.
And then,
we've read 1/3 of the entries for this one.
Yeah, so we shouldn't even talk about it, but I love both of them.
I mean, we can still say, like, of the 2 of the 6 that we've read, I think Beneath the Trees, I think got more attention than any, apart from Absolute Martian Manhunter, got more attention than any of the other entries. So for whatever that's worth.
Well, I think, do you know what? I think they're both such worthy nominations because they're both so creatively
interesting.
Yeah, sorry, I was really struggling for words there. I'm tired. I was really struggling for words. Yeah, they were both such a big swing, I think, creatively for the creators.
In very different ways as well.
Yeah, Martian Manhunter, just to do something that artistically heterodox and interesting in a DC comic.
And even the way the story is told.
Yeah.
Like, completely non-linear and, like, very out there. Very, like, Jack Kirby-esque kind of stuff.
Yes. God, yeah, what a good...
Very Alan Moore-esque in terms of, like, just, like, not handing you the story on a plate. Like, really making you work to understand what's going on.
And then Beneath the Trees is just well imagined, I think.
I think what's so good about it is, like we said, we have an episode on it. Go back and listen
if
you want.
2 episodes on it.
Yeah, and one of them on the sequel, which we do still need to finish at some point because that finished and we need to get back to that.
Yeah, we should probably finish that episode off.
But what was so good about what we read of this sequel, Rite of Spring, is we both agreed it was like, how could they seemed like they had nowhere else to go for that story, and they found such an interesting way to approach, like, revisiting these characters.
Almost more interesting than the first chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Fully.
Yeah.
I love a limited series.
I was surprised Martian Manhunter was considered limited series. I thought it was ongoing like all the other Absolute titles, but apparently it is going to end on I don't know what issue, but apparently it's got like a set ending.
Yeah, well, because if you think about it, some of our favourite comics of all time have been limited series.
Yeah.
A Billion Genies is a comic literate favourite. That fucking James Bond run.
Yeah, 6 issues, yeah.
Yeah, limited series. Beneath the Trees is a limited series. We both love Lucky Devils.
Yeah.
Limited series. We like a limited series. I think it's because a limited series is like, there's a certain amount of scope that they have for it. You know, what, are they usually 6, 8, or 10 issues, aren't they?
Either they could be anything.
They
could be 4,
anything.
They could be 2, like...
But I think it's because they have this, like, set idea of the story they want to tell.
Yeah.
And they know the exact scope of the story they want to tell. And they have, you know, they'll make as many issues as they need to, or they have a set number and they have to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And I think you end up getting these really tight, well-told stories out of a limited run that you don't necessarily get out of a continuing run.
I think it's a different skill set for writing. Like, some writers are, like, famously, Tom King is best known for his limited series, but criticized immensely for his ongoing series.
Yeah.
But whereas opposed to someone like, I don't know, like a Hickman or a Zdarsky, like...
They like an ongoing series.
Yeah, pretty well known for their ongoing stuff.
Alan Moore is a great example of somebody who only really wants to write a limited series. He only wants to... Alan Moore famously only wants to tell the story he wants to tell.
True, but then one of his best is Swamp Thing, and that was an ongoing.
Yeah, but he only did a limited run on it, didn't he?
But he jumped into it and wrote for however long. So, and maybe he just only was ever going to do a certain amount of issues, but we'll never know,
Alan
really.
Moore's just fucking good at whatever he does, isn't he?
And he's an enigma wrapped in a mystery with a great bushy beard.
A great big bushy beard. I fucking love Alan Moore. I think he's brilliant.
I thought you were about to say I love Hot Fuzz because of the reference.
I do love Hot Fuzz, actually.
I rewatched Hot Fuzz the other day. It's so good.
My partner grew up in France, right? And so there's certain films that she's either not seen or she's only seen dubbed in French.
You got to show her Hot Fuzz in English for the first time?
Well, no, because British films didn't really make it over to France in the same way that American ones did.
Right.
So one of the things that she was severely lacking was like knowledge of British cinema.
So you're like, this was called Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels.
Weirdly, she knew Guy Ritchie films.
Fair enough.
She liked Guy Ritchie because she'd seen The Gentleman on Netflix and then gone back and like looked at some of them.
Fair enough.
But she'd never seen Trainspotting. And she'd never seen the fucking Cornetto trilogy.
Wow.
But I had to explain the Cornetto. Imagine, right, having to explain what Shaun of the Dead is to a millennial.
I mean, it's a comedy parody version of a zombie film, essentially?
Well, yeah, but it was like... So it's... I understand that, like, in concept it's quite simple. But, like, it's rooted in a very particular type of humour that was really popular in, like, Britain at a certain point.
Early noughties.
Yeah. And so it's like explaining the concept of the Cornetto trilogy to somebody who'd just never heard of it. I was like, how have you not heard of this? Anyway, it's a constant amusement to me that she just knows nothing of British cinema.
But then surely could she not say the same to you for French cinema?
I know a bit about French cinema. I don't know what the fuck you're on about.
Oh, of course you would.
Like,
Amelie's my favorite film.
I've watched French films. French films are great.
I've watched French New Wave horror cinema. Whatever.
Amelie's one of my favorite films.
Yeah, well,
I love Have you seen Amelie?
No, but I've seen Irreversible, and don't look that up if you don't want to be horrified by film plot. Anyway,
best new series.
So this one we've got a little more input on this one to make.
Assorted Crisis Events. I feel like I've read that.
Yes, it was a great anthology. It was all about like time distortion anthology series.
Loved it.
Yeah,
loved it.
Great. Batman, the Matt Fraction run that's currently releasing.
Right.
One of the best Batman runs, I think, better than Absolute Batman, if I'm being honest.
Oh, Matt Fraction's Batman run's great.
Yeah.
Black Cat by I've never heard of it. How have I not heard of this?
Well, it's a Marvel title, but
we've
apparently
not done a lot of Marvel.
Well, again, not heard much about
Brian,
good stuff about
How
it.
did this not come up in Marvchill?
Look, we've covered a lot of Marvel in Marvel, as we always do. So
That's what we do every year.
Again, if it wins, maybe we'll look at it.
Exquisite Corpses was all right. It was a bit of fun, wasn't it?
That's the one. Yeah, that is literally my review of it. Still now is it was a bit of fun. I'm surprised it's getting a nomination. And it's of bloody old Tiny Onion, JT4, it's probably his like least good work. I'm not gonna say worst because
it's not bad.
Yeah, but I think it's the least interesting thing I've read of his.
We both enjoyed it, didn't we? But I think for me, did you not?
No, it was fun. Like that's
it was fun.
Yeah.
So we both enjoyed it, but for me, I think what makes JT4's work so special is that it's always really well imagined and it's always really unique, and he always has like a really strong concept of what he's doing, and then he's a talented enough writer who works with good enough artists that he follows through on that vision, right?
Yeah.
And Exquisite Corpses to me just felt a bit more limited in scope than the rest of his work.
I think Exquisite Corpses is his version of, like, I've written these really rich, deep, like, stories and character stuff. I just want to do something fun. Like, I think that was his, like, it's like a popcorn comic book story, bunch of crazy looking killers all trapped in a town on Halloween, and all crazy violence is going to happen. Like, I think he aimed for something completely different to what he normally does, and I think he did still a really good job of it.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing though. Like, we both liked it. It was good. It was really it did a really good job of what it was. But that's my point. I think the thing that I find so compelling in his work generally is that he takes a bit of an out there idea, but it's always really well imagined, and then he executes the fuck out of it.
Yeah.
He executed the fuck out of this, but the idea just wasn't as interesting as what he normally makes.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And Ghost Pepper from Image, which I have heard some rumblings of about, so maybe that's something we might cover. And a story called Temporal, which I've not heard anything about, cannot speak to, but we've at least read half of the entries in this one.
So I really like Matt Fraction's Batman.
Yep.
I think that's really good fun. Assorted Crisis Events was good.
I think, how
did I feel about it? Can you remember?
So one of the issues we're going to be talking about in the one-offs is an issue of Assorted Crisis Events. So I think we'll talk a little bit more about that, and it'll jog your image.
I reread a bunch of the stuff that was nominated,
yeah.
For the category we're going to talk about. That's the one I didn't reread.
But I've got a lot to say about it because I don't think it was the best one of them. So I'll talk about others I think should have been nominated. That'll jog your memory of, what kind of thing this is. But within that one, I think Assorted Crisis Events was a more interesting series than Batman. But again, it was an anthology series, so it's like hit or miss, but depending on what the story is of the issue. Whereas Batman, I think, for me, does a better job, not only of doing a continuing story, an interesting story, but doing a good Batman run. Like how many issues there are with like editorial and stuff, like actually making
Did a good Batman, didn't he?
And interestingly, one reason we might have to go back to Absolute Batman is they just introduced some Robin characters.
Oh, which Robins?
I'll save that because
new Robins, Robins I've never met,
existing Robins, or existing in the main universe.
Is Dick Grayson there?
He might be one of them.
No,
he was already introduced in the Absolute universe. He's a paramedic, so they already said they already cut to a paramedic whose name is Dick Grayson.
Oh, I clearly didn't
it was literally it was such a blink and you'll miss it.
Is Jason Todd there?
Maybe.
And Drake,
maybe.
Damian Wayne.
I don't think so. Only because the only reason I'll say he's not is because this Bruce Wayne hasn't fucked Talia al Ghul and made a Damian Wayne spawn. So
Because he's so young. Yeah.
So he's the only one I'll tell you now is not in it.
But Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake are all there.
Maybe.
We get all 3 Robins.
Right, no, well,
Shit.
again, you'll have to read it to find out.
If you're a new listener, right, and you're a comic book fan who's just clicking on this because this is now where you want to get your Eisner news from.
And you've made it this far, thank you very much.
Thank you. But also, if you've never listened to an episode before, for some strange reason, I'm massively into all the Robins. I don't know why. I just love them.
Specifically Dick Grayson, more recently Jason Todd.
Yeah, more recently, specifically Dick Grayson has been a thing for me for a while, mostly because he's DC top shagger.
And aesthetically pleasing.
And yeah, like...
Canonically best ass in the DC universe.
Fucking love those shirtless Dick Grayson alternate covers. But Jason Todd's great too. We like Jason Todd. And Tim Drake... Tim Drake's cool.
Tim Drake is there's some Tim Drake fans. There's dozens of them, and
they're
always angry when people badmouth Tim Drake.
Yeah, we don't dare badmouth Tim Drake because there's a dozen Tim Drake fans and 11 of them listen to the podcast.
Plural. At least plural.
Right, we need to keep cracking on so we can actually talk about what we want to talk about.
Yeah, I think beyond this, it's best publication for early readers.
Yeah, we're not really interested in any of that.
I don't think there's anything else that has an entry.
There's one that I want to look at. Best anthology, just to see. Yeah, how the fuck is
Ice Cream Man not nominated for best anthology?
But I suppose those are like just straight. This is an anthology of stories. They mean anthologies in the way that like
Marvel UK,
the
collections of stories.
Yeah. Not like an ongoing anthology series.
Yeah, probably the case. So. Otherwise,
the only other thing that
but graphic album reprint. We did read Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I think it's a reprint of the first one. I don't know by what criteria that they judge a reprint of a graphic album or what have you.
So there's 2 more that I really quickly want to look at. If you can scroll back up, there we go. Best graphic memoir, because I really like the idea of a graphic memoir. And so maybe the only person I really recognize there, and again, my eyes are failing me because it's white on a black background, which I sometimes struggle with on a big screen. But it rhymes with Takei, George Takei. A graphic novel memoir of George Takei could be interesting.
I mean, I think a lot of these entries, we're going to be real honest, a lot of these entries would be very interesting stuff to read and talk about. Is the SEO is the biggest issue.
Well, yeah.
And as great a person as George Takei is, I don't think he's putting those numbers on the board.
Well, maybe if
Absolute Batman is.
Maybe if there's a big Star Trek film,
Yeah, that he's not in because I'm pretty sure he's retired from acting and all that.
Well, yeah, but we could take the opportunity to talk about George Takei.
And who was in Star Trek once upon a time was George Takei, and here's his memoir, the comic adaptation of it or whatever. So, yeah, I think otherwise, have a look through the full list if you want some interesting recommendations of comics. I don't think we're going to be able to talk about any of the others, having not read any of the entries in any of the categories.
Yeah. It's just pointless, isn't it?
Which is why we're now going to transition to what I would say is our specialist category, because it's the one that we can actually read at least most of the nominations for and have an actual discussion about what should win. And that is the best one-shot / single issue category.
So I'm gonna go through this now. It's the first issue. It's the Absolute Batman Annual, which is great. Absolute Martian Manhunter 1, Assorted Crisis Events 4, Coin Op number 10, Wet Cement.
The real wild card one.
Yeah, which we hadn't read.
It's the only one we haven't read, specifically because I literally could not get a hold of it.
We just literally couldn't buy copies of it, could we?
No, we could have ordered a copy to be literally posted over from America, and it was like, I'm not going to get it in time to do this episode.
We're not in the business of importing comic books here.
But there was a 10-page preview on the Coin Op website.
I did not read that.
I mean, I can tell you what the preview was like at the very least.
It's 10 pages. We can scroll through it.
I mean,
now.
I could bring up on the bloody laptop.
And then we've got Ice Cream Man number 43.
Yes, specifically the one-page horror stories issue. Yeah. So where do you want to start with this? Because most of these we can talk about somewhat in length, having covered them before.
Well, so Absolute Martian Manhunter, issue 1.
Oh, we also missed, sorry, I scrolled down. Something is killing the children. A monster hunter walks into a bar.
Which we both really liked.
I mean, so we covered the original Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah.
This one being this unique kind of one-off. I mean, we could start here because I've got something to say about it.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm surprised it got nominated.
Well, I'm surprised it got nominated because it's just not as good as the...
Yeah, it's an interesting addition to the Something's Killing the Children story, but it doesn't give much, and I'm surprised that it's getting any kind of reverence in itself.
Nicely drawn.
Yeah, looks good art, like good texture.
It was really
good.
It was like, I feel like the art on it was really creative, and that goes quite a long way with me. But then again, I don't know that necessarily goes a long way with the comic book buying population as a whole.
I mean, I wouldn't buy a comic book just on the art.
I feel like I'm singular in that.
Yeah,
the art. Like, I mean, to be honest with you, a lot of comic book fans go there to like see their favorite hero kick ass, right? Like that's what people are there for.
Yeah. But you want good art to depict that as well, obviously.
Well, I don't know that a lot of people really notice or care, if I'm honest with you. But I noticed the art in this one, and I liked it.
Yeah, I think it was really good art. I think the only complaint in this specific thing being nominated is that I think is pretty close, if not the same art, to the main Something's Killing the Children series.
Which was really good.
Yeah, which was really good as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's for anyone who doesn't know, it's a kind of one-shot story about the character whose name I forgot, unfortunately. I really do want to go back to Something's Killing the Children at some point and personally just to read and catch up. Yeah. Just to get up to date because it's still going. And there's like offshoots as well, like House of Slaughter, like explaining the lore and the wider universe and stuff, which is really good.
That's cool.
But this one is literally just the main character from that walking into a bar where there has been some children have been murdered or killed. They don't know by what. And it's just hearing the stories from the townsfolk as they're kind of talking about the after effects of it happening, and also their theories about what happened and everything else. And again, it's a nice addition to the main story, but in itself, it is just a little like additional. Tell you what it reminds me of. Sometimes series, I don't know if they still do this or not, but sometimes after a series starts, the writer and artist, whoever, will make what's then retitled as like issue 0.
Yeah.
So it's not
like
necessarily not necessarily a prequel, so most of the time prequel, but also it can just be, again, just like this could take place before the main story starts because it's the status quo of this universe and this woman character who job it is to fight these monsters who kill and eat children.
And so
this could have been that, but I don't think in itself. And if we transition comparing to another additional single comic to a ongoing ongoing series,
Absolute
Batman, the annual, that was incredible. Like,
given what's going on in the world as a whole right now, particularly what's going on in the UK, a Batman comic where Batman kills a bunch of white supremacist cops
and with wrestling moves,
okay,
it's the most important part. I think we can all agree.
Specifically, again, if this is your first time, Ryan likes wrestling.
Yeah.
I just think
pro wrestling.
He is such a
mark.
He's such a mark for it. He marks for it so hard.
I'm marking out right now.
I listen when you tell me things. I just think this comic is so timely and so good. It's so much fun.
What we were saying about the art in the Something's Killing the Children issue being same to the similar series, this one was incredible art by one of my favorite artists and writers doing it today, old D-dubs, Daniel Warren Johnson.
Yeah, and the art in this annual was way better than the art in the Absolute Batman series.
100%, yeah.
I think I would be a little bit annoyed if Absolute Batman won Best Ongoing Series, and I would be chuffed if it won...
If the annual won this one.
Yeah, because it would be my pick.
I think this one has steeper competition. Like, I'd like it to win as well, but...
Yeah, because the first issue of Absolute Martian Manhunter is beautifully drawn.
It's one of my favorite, if not my favorite ongoing series right now.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I think the issue number 1 is... You could pick any issue, and they're all consistently great in the same ways.
But number one is surprising. I think it stands to reason that it would end up being issue 1 because there's probably better issues of it, but
But this one
issue one-
establishes the tone really well.
Yeah,
for such a different thing.
Exactly, and it has the wow factor. It really sticks in your head because it's the first time you've seen it, right? And this is what I'm saying. So, Absolute Martian Manhunter is so beautifully well imagined and fucking so cool to look at.
Yeah.
It would be a travesty if that weren't here. Ice Cream Man always bangs, but issue 43 is clever and snappy.
Yeah.
And it's the perfect, even though it's an anthology series and everything is different, it's the perfect single issue to pick for an anthology series because it's it's like an anthology issue within an anthology series, isn't it?
It's the what's it?
It's anthology squared.
No, I was thinking of who was the guy on Pimp My Ride? Not the British one with the guy who got
Exhibit.
Yeah, Exhibit. It's the exhibit of, yo, dog, I heard you like anthology series. So we put an anthology series in your anthology series. Because for anyone who doesn't...
Are you going to edit out you struggling to get to that joke?
Maybe.
You can't now. Now I've put a hat on it, you can't.
Well, no, now they just know it happened, but it got cut, which is fine. But for anyone who doesn't know, this issue of Ice Cream Man is an anthology series as a whole series, but this specific issue is one-page horror stories. So each page is its own unique story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's also got a celebrity cast of writers. Buddy Grant Morrison, Denise Camp, Matt Fraction, even Patton Oswalt, the comedian.
It's basically everybody else who's been nominated elsewhere.
Well, I mean...
Denise Camp, Matt Fraction.
True. Grant Morrison, I think they were just like, we really love...
It's Grant fucking... If you can get Grant Morrison, you get Grant Morrison, don't you?
I think it was like, we really loved All-Star Superman, as you can tell by our parody of it.
Yeah.
Would you like to write some stories for our... So this was one that we specifically had to read for this.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into every single one-page story because that would be far too much talking, but it's quite varied. I think it's a really interesting read.
It's hugely varied, but suffice to say, Ice Cream Man is one of the best things being published right now.
Yes.
And this was a really good issue.
But here's the interesting point. Is it the best issue of Ice Cream Man within the past year? No. Because we read one for
issue 42.
Our Ice Cream Man episode that we did recently. Do you want to tell them about issue 42?
Issue 42 was so bleak, it made me cry and cuddle my son.
And for a horror anthology series, and we discussed in that previous episode, the classification of horror, they do other stuff as well.
Yeah.
But it is, like here, they literally titled this one-page horror stories for the Ice Cream Man series. For a horror comic to have that reaction of someone of like actual existential dread concern about the world and all that. So we could argue, should this single issue be nominated when there's a better issue within the same series?
But you could literally get an issue, right? Get a copy of every single issue of Ice Cream Man that had been published this year, line it up on a wall, throw a fucking dart at it, and you would get one that was worthy of being in this category.
Sure, yeah, I agree with that.
They have not put... Have you read a bad one?
I've only bad in the comparison to their best stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's only hit and miss when you look at the whole series, because there's amazing issues, and then there's just, like, really good ones.
The issue where we see that guy rush through his life? Oh, my God. I mean, the car crash issue, I know that's from a year ago.
Yeah, but that was incredible as well.
Oh, man.
And got nominated in the same category.
The fucking dizzying heights that they've reached. The only thing I will say about the Ice Cream Man guys, and again, I'm going to go very slightly off topic now. And
on this podcast. And this is really big of me to say because I wasn't very nice about it. Okay, yeah.
But I think their Superman run should have been one of the limited series.
Yeah, I agree.
Because it's so fucking out there.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, anyway, that's just a hot take.
For anyone who's wondering, it's the Kryptonite Spectrum, their 6-issue, was it? I think 6-issue Superman story.
And I fucking hated it at the time.
You couldn't get around how weird the art was for the story, which for me was just something I liked about it.
And then I didn't think it was quite as pertinent or as sort of cleverly drawn as you did in terms of the writing. But I revisited it and I reread it and I was like, I think I was able to see through the art and the fact that I still don't think the writing is that good, but I was able to see through for what it is and be like, oh, actually, this is an objectively quite interesting comic.
And it was really fun. I think
and it was fun. And that's the point, isn't it? And yeah, so I think it deserved a place here, not in this
the
category.
Best limited series category.
Yeah, because there's no single issue of it. This is anywhere near as good as anything they do on Ice Cream Man. But as a 6-issue run, I think it's good.
I think the closest one is I can't remember if it's the first issue or the second issue.
Where Batman and Superman are talking, because you really liked that.
I mean, that was good. But when Superman, he gets hit with the purple kryptonite and it makes him experience time out of order.
Yeah.
Very Ice Cream Man style, where he had it resulted in him like looking at the comic book page and all the events in order to finally make sense of it all. And the way that he was responding to questions out of time.
Yeah.
And you wonder like what he's responding to and then seeing it
And
later in the story.
Later.
So that's the closest I would say of like, that could be an Ice Cream Man issue in itself.
Because often what I've noticed over the years is that the things that get nominated here get nominated because they've done something really interesting. Like there was that Nightwing issue where it was from his perspective.
Yep.
There was Human Target. There was a Human Target issue that was doing something interesting, wasn't there?
I can't remember if that was I can't remember if that was a nominated one or that's just a single issue we've praised personally.
No, I think it was nominated. I think it was nominated like 2024 maybe.
So it won Best Limited Series.
Right, sorry.
Which it's still a great, like, even better than a single issue if you consider like the amount of work.
Doesn't service my point though, so I'm going to carry on.
Fair enough.
But generally the comics that come on our radar that
usually do interesting stuff.
They're usually really pushing the boundaries of kind of how comic books are written or some aspect of it. There's nothing here, to my mind, other than maybe kind of Ice Cream Man, because it's doing all of the one-page stories. There's nothing here that is like really breaking the mold. It's a lot of like good stuff. And I would argue Martian Manhunter is quite out there just because of the art style, but it's not that out there. It's not pushing the boundaries of what a comic book can be.
I mean, that is one area, that is one criteria you could judge it on. But I think as well, equally, you could also say, like, what's the best story that's been told in such a short, like in a 23-page issue or whatever. And I think you could look at, like, you can have something that does something incredibly different in terms of storytelling, or something that's like, wow, they made this good a story in a single issue. Like it could be either or.
Which would be your nod out of the 6?
So we've only got 2 more to talk about. And going back to your point, Assorted Crisis Events did a lot of interesting stuff within single issues. The issue 4...
Do you know what? I honestly can't remember it. Can you show me it?
So issue number 4, the one that was nominated, was the one where it was a guy experiencing basically his entire life across the entire single issue.
I remember Assorted Crisis Events. This was galling, mate.
Yeah.
This issue made me like... This issue gave me a full-on existential crisis.
Yeah.
This is so good.
And this is like an interesting, like, the art is very interesting and very unique.
In my head, I just attributed this to Ice Cream Man for some reason.
I mean, another anthology series where like crazy bad stuff happens to people in like fantasy element kind of way, or except in this it was like time dilation, all that kind of stuff.
I found this issue hard to read. It was so good.
Yeah.
This is like, yeah, no, you're right. This is the issue that is really pushing the boundaries of what a comic book can be.
But my point was going to be, and I think this is a really good issue of a comic. Like in terms of all comics, it's a really great achievement of a single issue. I don't think it's the best from Assorted Crisis Events because...
Oh, it was my favourite. But you didn't like this one as much.
No, I don't think it was your favourite. I think I'm going to remind you what I think your favourite was, because just to go through a couple that were released within the same kind of time frame.
No, number 2, fuck off. No.
So number 2 was a like guy experiencing life in different order, and like the story of moving to the country as a kid, and that kind of stuff. That was great. And then issue number 3 was the immigration allegory. With,
man, that was so good.
Alternate universes and alternate timelines converging together and stuff. Far more unique in the storytelling because they told the 2 stories across the same page for like most of the pages. And then issue number 5 was the one where the girl got stuck in a time loop of repeating the same like moment. I think it was like a minute or like 63 seconds or something.
Yeah.
Over and over again for like possibly years, like decades.
Yeah.
And then suddenly snapping out of it and like having to get back to like recover from the trauma of this and maybe not as different storytelling wise,
Yeah.
but like as just a story in itself. Like really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
Those are just 3 that I think, in my personal opinion, are even better than issue 4 that got nominated.
No, you're right. You're right. Do you know what? I had forgotten all about this series and how much this was one where I sort of hated it
Because of how effective it was at making you uncomfortable.
Yeah, but that's obviously the goal there. Like I didn't dislike it.
Yeah, it did too good a job. Of doing
of
what it
making
did.
me feel. And I think this one, we read this one. Was it just before or just after I became a dad?
I think it was just before, because I feel like you would have had even more visceral reaction if it was after. I'm pretty sure it was before.
Was this the episode? This may have even been the episode we recorded the day before he was born.
Maybe.
This might be the last thing we recorded before I went on paternity leave. Yeah, let's have a look. I'm just intrigued now because I have no recollection of this comic until you mentioned it, and now I remember them all really distinctly. It was my first one back.
Yeah. It was your first one back, yeah.
So it was my first episode back from paternity leave.
It was like, here, your life is running out and your child is growing up faster than you expect and the world's going mental.
Jesus Christ, man.
I think I must remember saying at the time, like, hell of a comic for you to come back to start recording on.
Do you know what's scary? My kid's 6 months old now.
Yeah, yeah.
Isn't that fucking terrifying?
Time goes quickly, as we learned from Assorted Crisis events. So, yeah, my main point was, again, it's not the best from the series. It's still a really good single issue.
Yeah.
And I think, like, any of them deserve a nomination, but there's always that kind of, there's that reflective, like, it's not even the best from the series that is going to taint its consideration for me personally.
Yeah.
How other people feel, I don't know, but...
So I feel like my picks for this one would either be Assorted Crisis events or Absolute Batman.
The only other one was that Coin Op Wet Cement, which I didn't know anything about. Apparently, Coin Op is a group organization who make and sell comics. And basically, it's a really interesting art style. You can go on the website and you can look at a 10-page preview for free. And if you want to order it, you can order it directly from them. I've only read the 10-page preview, but it is an interesting art design. A lot of beige with like very minimal color use.
Very beige and grey, isn't it?
It's a story about, but it kind of works for the story because the story is kind of about people like getting woken up by a mysterious signal in the middle of the night and sleepwalking into a van, and they get taken to a place where they record their dreams and then feed it into a machine. So it's intriguing of like, where's this story going to go? And maybe they achieve some incredible things after this preview that's why it got nominated.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I've been able to see those things in this 10-page preview.
Yeah,
so
but
really
it's
say.
unfair, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's unfair to it because everything else we've basically read in its entirety.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
And we are going to make a less informed decision based on what we've read only. So, yeah, what are you thinking?
Well, I think my 2 picks are Assorted Crisis events and Absolute Batman Annual.
Yeah, I think for me, unfortunately for me, it's between Absolute Batman Annual, Absolute Martian Manhunter, and Assorted Crisis events. Ice Cream Man for me was really interesting and really cool thing they did. But I don't think I'm going to think about, because of inherently what it is, single page stories.
Yeah.
I'm not going to think about them as much as these other 3 options.
It's a good pick for the award because it's that.
But then I think issue 42, the real life influence one, I think about that more than these other 3.
I think about issue 42 of Ice Cream Man. Ice Cream Man team. The ICM team, the ICM team ICM, I think they call themselves, or ICM team
Cream, we'll call them
Team Cream.
Yeah,
wrote
the Cream team
because all of the big comic book authors wait eagerly for our Eisner thoughts.
Yeah, it's one of the most anticipated podcasts of the comic book industry.
Well, what happens on this podcast really sets the tone for the Eisners every year, doesn't it?
Yeah. The judges are like, well, what have Ryan and Jamie said?
God.
On the one,
if this is your first time listening,
issue.
Please be aware that we're not actually that conceited.
I think if you have to explain the joke, it's worse than just assuming people get what we're about. You know?
Yeah, okay, cut out then.
I'll leave it in if you want.
I don't know. Tell you what, Ryan.
Basically, we are highly established within the community, and don't double check that. Is what we're saying.
Don't look it up.
Yeah,
because you won't find anything.
Just trust us.
Just trust us.
Yeah,
because we're trustworthy guys. We're so important in the industry.
Yeah.
I think it's a really, really, really tight
So I said
category this year.
it's a steeper competition for the Absolute Annual than Absolute Batman has, I think.
Yeah, which means that the lesser of the two Absolute Batman series might end up getting the nod.
Oh, might get the win, yeah. If I had to pick one, because again, Absolute Martian Manhunter is very close to my heart. I'm really enjoying it. I love that it's a thing that was made, like just the fact that it is a comic that could be made this time. But as much love for the whole series as I have for it, I feel like I can't give compared to some of these others, I can't give a single issue. Despite how much I love the whole series, I can't give a single issue over some of these other ones. So
I think that in the spirit of like a really, really great standalone story that's told over 20 odd pages of comic books, it has to be Assorted Crisis Events 4.
I get that. If I'm really separating my biases, like I've just obviously tried to do that with Absolute Martian Manhunter. The most difficult thing for that for me is going to be with Absolute Batman, the annual, because it's by a writer-artist who I just love the stuff he does.
It's really fucking good, man.
It's really good.
Like, Daniel Warren Johnson did such a good job working within the confines of DC.
Did I ever tell you that apparently there was rumors that he was meant to be on the Absolute Batman series?
That tracks, and he would have done a great job. He would have done a better job.
Done an amazing job. But yeah, it sounds trivial, but it's Batman doing wrestling moves to people. Like, and if it was just that in normal art or more traditional art, the house style art,
yeah,
I would just be like, that was cool, and then whatever. But those images, like Batman breaking the guy's arm, hitting the one-winged angel, on these corrupt police, like at a time when it was really well received and obviously, very contentious among other parts of the community, but how impactful just those images were. Like, even outside, just those images got shared and people were like, oh my God, what is this? Like, in terms of impact, it definitely had far more impact than Assorted Crisis Events. And I don't mean that to say, like, obviously if Assorted Crisis Events had a Batman famous character in it, like, it's, you can't compare, but I still think, like, impact on the industry or community or whoever, on fans generally, is something to be taken into account.
When do we find out?
Comic-Con is, I think it's like June off the top of my head. I will double check that. End of July is when we'll find out.
God, so we've got a while.
Yeah. We got some stuff to do in the meantime, but
yeah.
I am, as much as I love Assorted Crisis Events, and I don't like, I agree with anyone who says it should have won or should win. I gotta go with Absolute Batman. Yeah,
you know what, mate? I can't be angry because that would be a close second for me.
Yeah.
And it's close for me because we both. I mean, the Absolute Batman annual gave us one of our best ever comments on the podcast. It's the favorite comment I've ever received from that one guy who keeps listening but keeps getting angry at us.
I mean, he might have stopped now because we haven't heard from him for a while. And I'm sad if we've driven him away.
Yeah, he was my favorite commenter. Right, I think we've had enough of the Eisners now. Should we go to Comment Corner?
Yeah, let's check in. Let's dip our toes into the old Comment Corner
and
see what's going on.
I think we need music for Comment Corner.
Well, there is a relation to the music, which unfortunately did not come up in this week's. These are comments on the Captain Britain episode that came out just last week.
I bet everyone's going to talk about me sleeping naked, aren't they?
There's some comments regarding that. So I haven't even read this one, so this is brand new. But from Lance Arietta, said that apparently they slept in an old t-shirt and boxer briefs, which I think is a good compromise between pajamas and nothing. Apparently, Sir Superheroes video was the first time they heard of Captain Britain. An hour-long lore video going all the way. Of course, yeah. Captain Britain was in the X-Men Krakoa stuff as well.
Ah, fair.
And the Fury does return. That's pretty awesome. But yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, the Captain Britain thing, was his sister, who she is or who she becomes. She becomes the character called Psylocke, I think. Psylocke, I think.
She was in that X-Men comic where, like, the past one.
Yeah, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, fucking hell.
But so
my brain had to tick so hard to even get what you got.
Days.
Yeah.
But so that character, and I'm doing a really loose abridged history of this character, but Betsy Braddock's brain ends up in the body of a character whose name I don't know, but it's a Asian woman, and that is just the character Psylocke for like an amount of time.
Oh.
And it was only in the Krakoa era where they got separated again. And it became this really awkward, like, because for a long time when the character was both these people combined, for however that happened, people were like, it's kind of weird that she's East Asian but has a very British accent. Like back in like the 80s and 90s. And
yeah, I was going to say that's not fucking weird at all.
People wouldn't say that now, but people did say that was weird back then. But it was, and to not be like, the simple thing would be like, well, they're a person of East Asian heritage who born in England, and that's why they have an English accent. Like the Marvel thing is like, no, it's a British woman's brain that's been put into the body of like this ridiculous explanation.
It's the only way they can get to like her grandparents are Chinese and she's not. Crack on.
But she was a prominent X-Men character, and then by proxy, Captain Britain was as well. So yeah, it's turned up. He was. I forgot this. I was reading the Ultimates, or catching up on the Ultimate Endgame. I forgot that Captain Britain was one of the bad guy, the Maker's Council. He's like the owner and runner of Europe for the Maker.
Is that Brian Braddock?
I don't know if it's Brian Braddock, because I was rereading it and he's wearing the Union Jack stuff, and I was like, oh, it's Captain Britain. And then he starts talking and he's French. I was like, is it Brian Braddock? And
I fucking remember. Yeah. We need to check back in with the Ultimates and double check on that.
Well, so next month will be the 5th and last issue of Ultimate Endgame, which is like the big final battle.
Well, then we should probably just do it.
We'll definitely cover it then. I'm going to do a quick search. So apparently Captain Britain does not exist in the new Ultimate Universe, but apparently this is a Reddit commenter who said all of Europe is just one big supercontinent nation, so a French guy just became Captain Britain. And I'll take that explanation for now, because we'll come back to it later when we do the Ultimates or the Ultimate.
Yeah, we can
Endgame.
talk about it, because now Captain Britain's like on my radar because I really like him.
But then this is the thing, we've said this like with a bunch of characters.
Oh,
do you like the character, or did you read a really good story with the character and then everything else is not as good in comparison?
Right, let's keep going. Comments. Are there any more interesting ones?
So Michael Blackwood wrote in and confirmed on my side that he wears pajama bombs. Also said, sing the music, you cowards.
Yeah.
I don't know. I assume that's referring to the starting to the arting theme, because that's the only one that we have sung in the past. But then to back you up, let Jamie give more niche political lectures regardless of if they're relevant to the comic.
Sweet, I'll take that. Oh, somebody replied.
And then someone replied to Michael Blackwood. It was Leon Goopy. We're hitting the trifecta of the superfans. But Leon Goopy said that they agree with Michael. All here for small tangents, so long as they're interesting and passionate. So that's the only requirements. If you do go off topic, you've got to be interesting and passionate.
Yeah.
And at least acknowledges that I don't, or the editor, whoever that is, doesn't want to edit it or that, but they're okay with longer run times. And look, let you in on a little secret, Leon. The amount of times that we start an episode, including this one, saying, let's keep it a tight hour because we're both tired or we've both got stuff to do. And then inevitably run over every single time. So you have nothing to worry about in terms of whether or not we actually stick to the time, like whether we stick to an hour or run over as we normally do. Leon Goby also commented on the Captain America episode from a while back, basically saying, this is so relevant today in this shitty country, it's insane. Which country are you talking about? Because that could be a few of them.
Well, we know where they're from.
Yes, but that's on the Captain America with the rising tide of fascism in Latveria and Doctor Doom, and now he's actually put in place by the CIA and all that stuff.
I feel like I'm so open about my political opinions on this podcast.
I think we both are, to be fair. I mean,
So,
eat the rich.
My open question to our commenters, because you guys really get to shape what this looks like, is do you want a comment corner music? Do you want there to be music for comment corner? Or is it not an important enough corner that there? Because comment corner is the bit where if you comment regularly, we're probably going to read your comment out.
Absolutely.
Because we love you and we're grateful for you. And
also it makes us feel seen. And it makes you feel seen when we read your comments. So it's like, it's a symbiotic relationship.
I think because there's these there's this handful of commenters that comment every episode, and we always make a point of like, if what they're saying is in any way relevant or interesting, we will read it out.
Yeah.
It means there's been an ongoing conversation with these people for months now, and I live for it.
Yeah. It's the one thing keeping us off the bottle or off the streets, you know?
I don't know what about my personality tells you I'm not firmly in one and on the other.
I mean, we know you're for the streets.
I was made for the streets.
Anyway, I think I might have missed an interesting comment. If I have, I'll try and double back to it next week. But think that's most of the interesting stuff that we can cover at this point, and we're actually kind of keeping it in time for once this week. It helps that we were talking about a bunch of different stuff and not just like going on tangents within a single
This
issue.
has been the least tangenty episode.
Yes.
I've done one Jamie tangent.
It's because we had to get through a lot of individual stuff, whereas when it's just one story.
I haven't even gone on a big tangent about Britain in the 70s yet.
I mean, at least it was appropriate in last week's, because that was when the comic was released.
I honestly, mate, I've just been listening to a bunch of podcasts and reading about Britain in the 70s, and I was dying to talk to somebody about it. and you are a captive audience because we do this once.
Because I kind of have to be.
Yeah. Like, sometimes I do just use the podcast as a way to, like, get something off my chest. It's like, God, I've been thinking about this thing a lot this week. I'll just talk about it on the podcast. It doesn't matter.
If mine's superhero related, then naturally I will find a way to it.
Yeah.
Even better when it's wrestling related, because then I'm like, right, here's all the backstory of everything.
I can tell when you're doing it though, because you set it up for like 10 minutes. It's like a slow
talk about it for 20 minutes.
Yeah. It's like a slow 10 minutes where I'm like, Ryan's about to talk about wrestling.
I forgot to get to, and I don't think it's much to say about it, but apparently one of the nominations for the Eisner got caught out for having a page being made by AI or something. It's like some kind of anthology series, and people are now discovering that someone who boasts about creating comics with AI on LinkedIn is actually used a pseudonym to provide, like, to contribute a page of something to. It wasn't the Ice Cream Man one, luckily. That's all. I can't remember what it was, but it's not the Ice Cream Man one. And at least we know that AI can never replace us doing this, because
it could and it will.
Nah, because what AI bot is going to go on a tangent about 70s and 80s political turbulence in Britain and all obscure wrestling facts?
When AI is creative enough to start trying to decide who the top shagger in the Marvel and DC universes are, I will let it do our podcast for us.
And I'll tell you what, it might give you like the basics. It's not going to give you the same flair that we provide.
No, well, it's not going to be picturing, really, really quite elaborate sex with
Daredevil.
Dick Grayson in the way. Fuck off with your Daredevil.
You're talking about when we're talking about Dick Grayson and Daredevil from one of the comments.
Oh, yeah, Dick Grayson. I definitely am imagining Dick Grayson with Daredevil. Yeah, absolutely not.
You imagined that they were doing a standing 69 or something. Those are your words.
Sorry,
You were taken aback imagining it.
I'm just taking a moment with that one.
Listeners, he's fanning himself like a southern darling.
That sounds like something I would say. I don't remember it, but it sounds like
I've
something.
got a case of the vapors.
Again, I don't remember saying that, but it does really sound like something I would say.
He was standing up and then he fell backwards onto a chaise long.
And then asked you for a mint julep.
Please fetch me an iced tea.
I need a restorative.
I may have consumption. So AI's never going to do any of that we just did.
No,
that's the difference.
That top quality banter, which, Leon Goopy, it was passionate.
Passionate and interest. Maybe it was interesting. It was definitely passionate.
It was interesting for us, but it was, I mean, the Dick Grayson top shagger thing is my passion project.
Yeah. Being interesting is something we sometimes achieve, but it's always with passion.
Always.
Even if it's absolute bollocks.
More passion, more energy. Right, should we go?
Yeah.
Because I really want to go have hot chocolate with my partner.
And I'm probably going to play the PlayStation or something.
Honestly, for a minute, I thought you were going to tell me you were going to have a wank.
I considered it.
It's
I was
just
like,
it's the way you looked at it. It was like, is funny.
How funny would it be versus how seriously will people take it if I said that?
What are you playing on the PlayStation?
I'm playing a game called Returnal, which is free on the PlayStation Network.
Oh.
And it's a bit fun. It's I think a roguelike is what you'd call it, but as you kind of repeat the same, procedural generated maps, and you do it over and over again kind of thing. So, yeah, I'm probably going to play that after this.
I'm doing a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Emerald.
Wow. Hardcore Nuzlocke, you normally have to pay extra for that, don't you?
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm prepping for the 7th gym.
Wow. Is that fire?
Tate and Liza is the psychic gym that is actually mostly rock.
I was going to say psychic after fire, but tell you what, I am
wanking.
That's not interesting.
Depends on how and where you do it.
True. If you do a standing 69 by yourself. Is that possible?
Surely at that point you're just having a wank
It's
while doing a handstand.
It's a good thing we're talking about this now, where we lose. Like, by the statistics, there's a significant drop off by the end of an episode.
Yeah. We've lost all the listeners we're going to lose. Anybody that's still listening is there for the long
They're
haul.
ride or die.
Yeah,
for sure.
Quite literally.
All right, then we're actually going to cut it short now because we can actually say we didn't even keep it under an hour, but it's closer than we would
We can
normally.
just edit all this out.
Nah, leave it in.
Thank you for listening. I've had a wonderful time. I hope you have too. Let us know in the comments who you think the best of all these nominations was and who should win all these Eisners.
Taylor, just tell us what your favorite comics or single issues from the past year have been.
Yeah.
Regardless of like award nominations or anything like that, like what were your favorites?
And we are currently maybe planning a little bit of like extra content on a different platform. And so, you know, we're kind of getting you conditioned to tell us what you're thinking. And maybe if it's something we've not read, you could maybe like in the future, you could pay us to do it, basically, is what we're suggesting. That's a service we're thinking about offering.
That's right, we're renting ourselves out.
We've been doing that for years.
And maybe finally someone will pay for it.
Peace out, motherfuckers!
And thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to get notified of our future episodes as well. And if you're feeling particularly generous, then please leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using. If you'd like to get in contact with us, then send an email to comiclit@gmail.com. You can also watch videos by me on the Comic Stand YouTube page, which is linked in the description. Thank you, goodbye.